Well, good morning there everyone, and thanks for watching Bland County Survivor Man. Today on Bland County Survivor Man, I'm going to answer some questions that some young people have been asking me about some snares and show you how to make one. Guys, I've got a snare right here that I purchased a few years ago. It's just a store-bought snare. You can see the lock on it. It's got a lock on it that locks down on the animal's neck and doesn't release after he's went through the trap. It also has a swivel on the back of it. That keeps the thing from unraveling your cable there while it's twisting round and round. Obviously that's what's going to happen. So I'll unlock that one. Here I've got a Coyote Snare that I purchased last year at a flea market. You can see the lock that it's got on it. It's just a round piece of metal, about an inch, with two holes drilled in it. It's very simple and probably not that hard to make. It's also got a choke stop on it. You can see that little nut they've got right there. That's called a choke stop. In other words, it'll go up so far and it won't strangle the animal to death. It also has a swivel on it. Now here's my version of that round piece. All you got to do is just take you a washer, and I've got some pictures of this stuff that I'm going to put on this video so that you can see what the locks look like. But that thing is really simple. Just put you a 90-degree bend in that washer and drill you two holes in it to fit your cable. Here I'm using 3/16 cable. That's the kind of end I got on mine. All I do is just put that around a tree right there when I'm snaring and run one end of it through that thing. And when I do that, show you how that works. That goes around the tree over here, and that holds that animal in place. Ain't gonna pull that thing out. I caught a big old bobcat with that snare there one time. And here's my version of that other self-locking snare. It's just a bent piece of metal. It's real, not very thick. I think that's 11 gauge right there. Drill you 3 holes in it, obviously. And it's easy to set because when you set it, it just stays in place, and then as it comes along, the animal, the thing will stick its head through there, and then it'll just slide right down on his neck. Now, I've got over here a piece of cable right here that I want to show you guys. Now guys, you folks that aren't fortunate enough to have just a lot, lots of money coming out all the time. Some people can't afford to just buy snares made, and I realize and know that. So what you got to do is just go down to your local hardware store and get them to cut you some of this cable, and they'll cut it whatever length you want it. I usually cut mine anywhere from 60 inches to probably 36 inches for fox and stuff. And they will cut it for you. They don't care, and then they'll sell it to you. Or you can just buy you a little small roll of it. But anyway, one of the easiest ways to make a snare is just take that nut right there and stick your cable through it. That right there is going to give me a little bit of hassle this morning on this video. That's the way it goes. Anyway, guys, while I'm doing this, I want to talk to you about being honest about setting your snares and stuff. Always abide by the law when you do this stuff. These things in our state, you're required to have your name and your address on them and your telephone number. And that's what I want you young fellers to do. Don't go out here and set a snare if you know good and well it's going to catch your neighbor's dog or cat, one of their animals, because that's not ethical. I want you to be ethical. Go far enough out into the woods where you can learn how to snare foxes and stuff like that, and don't upset your neighbors. Good neighbors are hard to come by, and once you get one of them mad at you because you've killed their dog, you've got a problem on your hands. So be ethical about it. So anyway, there's what that end of it looks like. I'll step right over here to my vise off camera, and I'll squeeze that thing down. And there's the way it'll look. And one thing I like about this particular snare right here is the thing is super fast. What I mean by that is you can drop a hammer in that snare and you've caught that hammer. So that's how fast it'll go around the animal's neck. The other end, obviously, just do the very same thing. Just make it to where the nut is on the loop. It makes you a loop about that big so you can hook it around a tree. Now guys, I'm going to take you outside and show you one sitting on a log that I've just put up here for a demonstration. Alright guys, here I'm looking right through a fox setup on a log. The best way to do this, young fellers, that I have found, instead of just going and taking poles and stuff and putting them up, is just take you a coat hanger. See that coat hanger right there? Take your coat hanger, take it apart, bend it to the shape you want, and then just come up here and take you some nails and nail it to the log that you're going to make your set on. All you have to do then is take your little snare, and it goes perfectly around that loop, makes you a nice little hole for the fox to stick his head through. A fox setup, I usually use about a 6 or 8 inch hole, meaning this way, for a fox on a log or on a trail, either one. And the height off the ground is about 9 to 10 inches. I find that works for gray fox, and it also works for red fox pretty good. Another thing I want to tell you is this is the way you want to do it. If you catch a place where a coyote is going under a fence, one of the best ways is to set back from the fence about 36 inches off of the fence and set your snare up instead of trying to hang it off of the fence, because a lot of times that don't work too good, and it gets to be frustrating. So you can set up for a coyote like this about 36 inches back from the hole he's going in. Do the very same thing I've done right here. Another thing I want to tell you is right underneath this thing I've got a pebble, and I set it right directly underneath the snare loop. And in the woods, that will cause the animal to lift its head up. Instead of trying to go underneath your loop, it'll lift its head up and stick its head right through the hole. But in the woods, I will use sticks to do that, and the animal will come along and don't want to rub his nose in stick his nose in a stick. But anyway, that's the way I do it. So guys, like I said before, be ethical out there. Learn your trapping laws. Abide by the laws always. And that's another tip from your Bland County Survivor man. Have a nice day.